What's up? This is Ray. Welcome back. Hey, check this out. You probably already know what this is. This is a cell phone gimbal, and it is very popular nowadays. Years ago, one of the biggest problems videographers had was getting steady footage. So then stabilized lenses came out, and then finally stabilized sensors, and then things like this, so that you can walk and do things actively while getting stable footage. What's interesting about this model, it's from a company called Feiutech. They sent it out to me and they asked me to review it. This has a few features that other gimbals may not have. For example, this telescoping head, that is very cool. It has a USB port up top that allows you to charge your phone while you're using it. And there's a few other things it can do, but the most important thing about this gimbal is it's one of the lowest price you can get at about $99. But whenever you buy something at that price, you have to ask yourself, is it gonna do the job? Is it worth it? Well, I've had this gimbal for a few days. I've been putting it through its paces and I found some interesting characteristics of it. So this is called the Feiutech Vimble 2, Vimble with a V. So if you're curious, if you're looking at this, stick around. I'm gonna show you everything I found about this. Stay tuned. Okay, so this is a test I'm doing. I really want to see how well this gimbal does when I'm walking on this rugged terrain. This is an isolated island in the Keys of Florida, and I'm approaching a bridge that's out of commission for a long time. But what we're trying to see is how does it do when I'm walking, holding this on rough ground. I'm going to turn this around now so you can see the bridge. Okay, so you're looking at the Bahia Honda bridge in the Keys. That's it down there. That's what's left of it. Who knows how much longer it's going to stand. But we are here to test this gimbal, though. That's the point. So what I'm just doing is holding it with the extension ready. Yeah, okay. So let's see if we can do a circular shot here. A Michael Bay kind of shot. All right. So there's a lot of things that this thing is good for, but you really have to take the time to get comfortable with it, and you really have to know how to use the gimbal and control it with this joystick and how to make changes so it can do what you want. All right, so one of the biggest things, one of the advantages of using a gimbal is being able to do hardcore things, running and jogging, and it'll really make it a lot steadier. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And also, before I do it, look and see, is the horizon straight? Sometimes it looks like it's not. What I'm gonna do is jog now down this path, and let's see how well it stays on me, how well it keeps it steady. All right, let's go. Is it better than if I was hand holding? All right. Hey, one of the accessories that came with this gimbal, I didn't really understand why it was there. It comes with this tiny tripod. And what I realized is the gimbal is able to do time lapses. So being able to set this up and start it and stand back will allow it to do its time lapses vertically without you having to hold it. And so that's one cool thing. And also the tripod allows you to hold it a little further from you when you have it in selfie mode like that, and that's going to help. But keep in mind, when you're holding it there, you're not going to be able to reach the buttons at the same time. Hey, check this out. I'm going to show you a pretty major oversight in the design of this thing. The phone receptacle holder is very thin, and the problem is most of us put our phones in cases to protect them from drops. My phone, none of my phones will fit in here with the case on without easily falling out. I have to take the case off to put it in, and then it fits perfectly snug. But the problem is, if you have to take off the case and put it on every time you're going to use this, that can be a hassle. So it makes me wonder, did they really think this through in detail when they were designing it? Because some of those little things, those little details are what can make a product great or not when you add them all up together. All right, I'm going to tell you some of the things about this gimbal that I don't like. It has an automatic orientation mode, and let me show you what I mean. When you hold the gimbal vertically, the way you rotate it is by twisting the handle. See that? It works perfectly fine. When you hold the gimbal horizontal, the twisting doesn't do anything. The way you rotate it is by turning it. It follows the heading of the handle when you do it in that direction. And if you hold it in a low position, watch what happens. It automatically switches over to the reverse upside down position. Now that might seem like a good thing at first, but what if you're moving from high to low? Did you see how it just recentered itself? What if I didn't want it to recenter itself? What if you're going down here at a low shot and it switches upside down and you don't want that? The one way around that is this trigger right here. When you hold down the trigger, it puts it in heading hold mode. So that means no matter where you turn it, it stays pointing forward. So that's one way to get over that problem. All right, check this out. This is one thing that a lot of people may not think about when they're using a gimbal. They may figure that they can do whatever they want now because it's stabilized, but you got to keep in mind, it only has 3 motors. That means it corrects for the pitch, the roll, and the yaw. But it doesn't correct for when you're walking and you're moving up and down. Notice how the camera's moving up and down? So you have to keep in mind that as you're walking, you maybe want to bend your knees a little and keep your hand steady as you can. Another thing some people do is they'll hold the gimbal in this attitude. That way, as they're walking up and down, the camera will be correcting a little bit for that. Still not perfect. So keep in mind, whenever you're using a gimbal, you still want to have correct posture, steady posture as possible. That way you'll have the most stable footage. This button right here, the mode button, it has 5 different settings. And let me show you. One press puts it in normal gimbal mode. It stays in this position. Double click it and it orients to the position of the handle. So if I point the handle down, it's facing down. The gimbal is still slow, it's still smoothing out the movements, but it is pointing in the direction of the handle now. If you do 3 clicks, it switches the camera mode to selfie mode. So that's when it'll face you. You can walk. If you do 4 clicks, it is now in program mode, where if I turn the camera this way, press it once, turn it to the second position I want, press it once, it will automatically do that move. All right, I'm going to show you the main reason now why I cannot recommend this gimbal. Okay, in Hollywood, they do a lot of grand crane shots where a camera will start at the top where a gas station sign is and it'll sweep down to the car pulling up to the pump. Looks really cool. When I do that with this, it always glitches in the mid position, and watch what I mean. I'm going to hold down the trigger for heading hold mode and watch as I bring it down. You see what it just did? It doesn't hold its position. Whenever it reaches right here, it's like it gets stuck. And that's a major problem because there's a lot of the moves I do are like that, diagonal moves. If you're just walking in selfie mode, you're not going to have that problem, but gimbals are supposed to free you up. It's supposed to make you have less limits. And I find when I'm using this gimbal, I'm thinking about its limits, how to go around them, and planning out shots, and it's kind of counterintuitive. So that's one main thing about this gimbal, this Vimble 2, that in my opinion is a disappointment, and I'm always keeping it real, as you know. All right, so that's the deal. That is my review of the Feiutech Vimble 2. As you can see, I don't think it's ready yet for the market. Some of the problems it has are not fleshed out properly. So hopefully there will be a Vimble 3 that can correct some of these issues. Hopefully they recognize that these are issues. But hey, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Maybe there's something I left out. Maybe there's something I'm not doing with this gimbal. But until next time, thank you for watching, and keep in mind, no matter what stabilization you use for your videos, as always, keep it real.